and Industries Q4 and FY20 results update, hosted by Edelweiss Securities Limited. As a reminder, all participant lines will be in the listen-only mode, and there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions after the presentation concludes. Should you need assistance during this conference call, please signal an operator by pressing star then 0 on your touchtone phone. I would now like to hand the conference over to Mr. Amit Mahawar from Edelweiss Securities Limited. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Good morning, everybody. We welcome you all to KEI Result Conference Call today. We have with us the top management of KEI, represented by Mr. Anil Gupta, Chairman and Managing Director, and Mr. Rajiv Gupta, Executive Director of Finance. We will start with a brief opening remark by the management, post which we will have a brief Q&A session. Thank you, and over to you, Mr. Gupta.
Yeah. Good morning, friends. I'm Anil Gupta, Chairman, KEI Industries Limited. Welcome to this conference call of KEI for Q4 as well as financial year 1920 financial year results. So during the fourth quarter of I'll stand on alone financials for fourth quarter. During the fourth quarter of financial year 1920, the company has achieved a net sales of rupees 1,258 crore against same quarter in the previous year, almost similar sale of 1,258 crore. There was no growth as compared to corresponding period last year. It was due to lockdown announced by the government, resulting into no sale for last 10 days of the quarter ended March 31st, 2020. The EBITDA during the quarter was 123 crores against previous year 141 crores. However, the profit after tax during this quarter was rupees 60.85 crore against 59.93 crore in the same period last quarter. Profit after tax / net sales is 4.84% against 4.76% in the last year. During the whole of the financial year 1920, the company recorded a net sales of rupees 4,884.27 crore against 4,227 crore in 1819. So the growth in net sales is 15.55% over last year same period. EBITDA achieved is rupees 512.55 crore against 449 crore in the same period last year. So the growth in EBITDA is 14%. Profit after tax during 1920 was rupees 255 crore against 181.87 crore in the same period in 1819. So the PAT has grown by 40.2526% as against last year same period. Profit margin has improved by to the profit margin has improved to 5.22% as compared to 4.3% of the net sales in the same period. Now the volume growth in the cable division during the year is 18% as compared to last year same period. So during the whole of the financial year, the institutional sales of the cable has grown by 31% as compared to last year same period. So we achieved rupees 2,621 crores. This includes the export sales as well against 2,002 crore in the same period last year. The sales during the fourth quarter of 2019-20 through our dealer network was rupees 321 crore as compared to 405 crore of the last year same period. So it was declined due to economic conditions as well as a substantial sale through the dealer network comes in the last 10 days of the month. That is a normal routine practice, and due to lockdown, that sales was sacrificed. So the overall sales through the dealer distribution network was 1,413 crore in 1920 as compared to 1,400 crore in the last year, same period. So it was almost just grew by 1%. The total active working dealers of the company as on today is 1,650. During the fourth quarter, during the financial year 1920, the sales of extra high voltage cable was rupees 435 crore against rupees 189 crore in the whole of 1819. So the growth in extra high voltage cable sale is approximately 130% as compared to last year. During financial year 1920, the sales from EPC division was rupees 764 crore. This is apart from the cable sales to our EPC division against rupees 730 crore during the same period last year. So the pending orders as on today, this is on 31st March? Pending orders as on today, I'm not saying 31st March, but as on today, 3,200 crore, out of which EPC pending orders are 1,233 crore, extra high voltage turnkey projects 747 crore, the cables 1,116 crore, and exports standalone cable 164 crore. But if we include the export orders of EPC against Asian Development Bank funded projects, it is close to 400 crores. So the total is 3,260 crore orders pending as on today, as on 1st of June. The company has achieved a landmark order first time for 400 kV voltage grade of extra high voltage cable last week from Tamil Nadu Transmission Corporation Limited for a value of around 150 crore rupees. The receipt of 400 kV extra high voltage cable order, company has achieved another milestone and has placed KEI amongst the few just 5-6 international players in this industry, having achieved this milestone to manufacture and supply cables of 400 kV voltage, underground cables of 400 kV voltage grade. Now the financial charges on standalone basis, the financial charges of the company in the fourth quarter is 27.66 crore as against 42.29 crore in the same period last year. So the financial charges has come down to 2.2% of the sales in the fourth quarter as against 3.36% of the net sales last year. On a full year basis, the financial charges has been 129 crore as compared to 136 crore. So as in percentage terms, it has reduced to 2.64% from 3.22% of net sales. It is important to mention that company did a qualified institutions placement of rupees 500 crore during January 2020 at a price of 500 rupees, so at a premium of 498 rupees. So the share capital of the company has increased from 15.9 crore, comprising of 7 crore 95 lakh shares, equity shares, to rupees 17.9 crore, comprising of 8.95 crore equity shares. The proceeds of the QIP have been utilized as per the objects of the issue, such as repayment or prepayment of debts, meeting working capital requirements and general corporate purposes. the details of which has been given in the press release. So, consequent to QIP, the book value per equity share of the company now stands at 168.34 as on March 31st, 2020, as against 98.69 as on March 31st, 2019. During the full year, the company has incurred a total expenditure of rupees 5.82 crore in financial year 1920 towards CSR activities, including rupees 2 crore contributed to PM Care Fund for COVID-19, paid during end of March 2020. Now, I would like to brief about the cash flow position. Even during the lockdown period of April 2020, we recovered a cash flow of 194 crore during April 20, out of which more than 102 crore was recovered from turnkey projects segments from the various government utilities, and the cash inflow from cables was 69.85 crore. Similarly, in May 2020, the cash inflow was 270 crore rupees, making it a total of 454 crore during April and May, which is more than the sales achieved during this period. So we are cash surplus in last 2 months, as even after this, due to this lockdown. So thank you very much. I would like now you to ask any questions what you may like to ask. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now begin the question and answer section. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 on your touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and 2. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Anyone who has a question at this time, please press star and 1. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. We have the first question from the line of Ashwin Agarwal from Ashmore. Please go ahead.
Good morning, sir. So I'd like to get a sense on what are you seeing in terms of business prospects at this time in the 3 buckets. One is, of course, the dealer-driven sales, then your institutional cable sales, and on the EPC side. How are you seeing business outlook? And I mean, you made a comment that the combined sales over April and May were probably less than 500 crores of rupees. So could you give us a sense on how we should look at the current financial year?
See, you are aware that April was nearly zero. So the sales whatever is achieved in last 2 months, a very small sale in the last 4-5 days of April, and balance is in May. So there was a substantial sale towards exports during May, and also sales of cables to various institutional customers. Although the sales through the dealer network has been slow even in the May, mainly because across the country dealers were closed. So the industrial units started operating from first week of May in our mostly in our at 50% level in Rajasthan and Silvassa factories, but the dealers started operating only partially in that too in some parts of the country, barring bigger cities, from 10th or 12th of May, or mostly I should say only from 15th of May. but we have achieved a decent sales from the dealer network in the 15 days of the May as well. So it is really at the moment difficult to judge the forward guidance from this, but considering our very strong order book from exports as well as institutional customers, we believe that the company will be doing better than the industry average, and even in the large industry average, and we should try to achieve. I don't know, little bit shrinking may be possible, but we'll try to achieve as much as what we have achieved last year. But it is very difficult to comment at the moment, as the days grows and what we will see in the COVID situation and how the governments will be acting in movement of people and movement of goods. So we have to watch for another 1 to 2 months to give a real true guidance.
So what are you seeing on the EPC side, especially with all this reverse migration of labor? Are you facing issue doing the work on the EPC side? I know April was tough, but have you seen any improvement in May, or it is still all in a state of suspension?
No, we have seen a significant improvement in May, and all our sites have started wherever we are working, and we have achieved very good progress. We have also closed the 3-4 projects physically as during May, and with very dedicated contractors at our command, and we are very focused on paying contractors immediately upon submission of their bills, so they are very, very loyal to us. So we have not seen any constraint on account of labor in any of our sites throughout the country.
Mm-hmm. And the last question is in line of this COVID uncertainty and what's going on. I mean, you had plans to set up a new facility in Western India. What's the status on that? Are you going slow, or you're going progressing as before?
No, we are going slow. So the conditions will be. So we have just deferred the matter for reconsideration for 6 months. So we'll be reviewing the situation in October, and after seeing the economic conditions and the business environment, we'll be taking a decision to go forward for the new capex.
And the land which was under investigation in the sense for acquiring, has that been acquired or not really?
No, not. So we had identified number of lands, and we were in the negotiation stage, but and likely we would have finalized it in April, but due to this lockdown now this could not be done, and now we have decided that we should defer the fixed investment for at least 3-4 months, and we'll review the situation in October.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you. The next question is in the line of Lavina Kudra from Jefferies. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Hi, sir. Just wanted to understand how is the payment cycle shaping up with clients, especially the institutional front? I mean, are they delaying, and will you all also delay your projects accordingly, or how are you looking at that right now?
There is no denying the fact that the payments, substantial payments which were due to come in end of March in last 10 days could not come, but we recovered a good amount of money in April and May. But however, a lot of payments are delayed because of the non-release of payments due to lockdown by various customers, various utilities to the contracting companies, and also having a consequent effect on the dealers as well as the contractors. So, but all the export payments which were due, they are coming on due dates. So we have not seen any slowdown in that.
Okay. And sir, this is more on the interest charges for Rajiv sir. What is the split of your interest cost for the year between bank charges and others?
You can note down the figures.
Okay.
The whole year, the working capital interest was 58 crore, including the term loan interest of 14.4 crore. And the LC interest was 26 crore. Bank charges was close to, on LC was the 10.3 crore. Bank charges on the bank guarantee was 13.18 crore. Other bank charges, that is the processing fee, 6.9 crore.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Achal Lohade from JM Financial. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi. Good morning, sir. Thank you for taking my question. Can you help us with the volume growth in your cables and stainless steel wires segment, please, for the fourth quarter as well as full year?
The volume growth during the full year is 18% for the cables. And
in cables, the fourth quarter volume growth is close to 9%.
Okay. And the wires?
Stainless steel is 18%. Stainless steel.
Stainless steel is very minor sales.
I think
I will communicate the stainless steel wire in the subsequent part through Amit Mahavar. Right now, I am not having the figure of stainless steel wire in the volume term.
No problem. Sir, could you also help us with respect to the distribution-wise revenue breakup? Just wanted to understand how the dealer sales are, the growth has been for the fourth quarter in terms of reported numbers, and how much would have been the lost sales actually because of the lockdown?
it was 320.
So you want the Anilji has already.
I already said that in fourth quarter the sales through dealer network was 321 crore as compared to 405 crore in the fourth quarter of last year. For the full year, the sales through dealer distribution network was 1,413 crore as compared to 1,400 crore for the full year in 1920.
And sorry, I missed that part in terms of export.
Sorry, 1,400 crore in 18-19 and 1,413 crore in 1920.
And export was 899 crore as compared to 5 last year.
I suppose that is for the quarter. And what about full year, sir?
It is full year, 899 crore.
For 1920.
For the quarter, it is 252 crore is export against the 141 crore export. 252 crore.
Understood. And with respect to the outlook in terms of the number of dealers you have and what kind of increase you're looking at, and would it be possible to also kind of indicate what is the mix in terms of the regions like north, west, south, east, etc. for the dealer sales?
Total dealer distributor is close to 1,650. And every year we are increasing close to 8 to 10% every year in number of dealers. So this year we have grown by 13% in number of dealers. And all across the region, the split is not available right now, but I will give you the split. But all across the region, we are adding the dealer distributor network. It is not the case that we are adding in one particular region. In each and every region
of the country.
Yeah.
Right. And just last question.
Sorry, sir. May I request you to please return to the queue for any follow-up questions?
Thank you. No problem.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Ankur Sharma from HDFC Life. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Hi, sir. Good morning. A couple of questions. One, while you mentioned the export sales at about 899 crores for last year, so how much was Dangote out of this in FY20, and how much is still left to be supplied would be the first question. And second, what would be your outlook on the export side in terms of either new geographies or new customers? for FY21?
What was the Dangote figure?
340 crore.
The total sales to Dangote in last financial year was 340 crore, and leftover is around 110 crore, which is to be done in April, May, and June. So in this quarter it will be finished. We have a substantial export market in Australia, Middle East, and through many international EPC contractors, we are selling to many oil and gas projects in Africa, in Latin America as well. But I mean, we have never been dependent on just Dangote. Dangote was of course, a very prestigious and big order, but we do not expect a very significant fall in the export sales in spite of not having anything from a Dangote-like order, a big order in one go. So, even in 18-19, our export was around 531 crore, and this year it is around 900 crore. So, we should see a reasonable figure in export also this year as well, in spite of not having a order like Dangote.
Okay. So just a follow-up would be, sir, given weak oil prices and we are hearing about, pretty much everybody cutting capex targets for this year in the Middle East or, possibly also in Africa, you still see a healthy pipeline is what we should understand?
See, whatever order this year will be executed, this is for ongoing projects. So if a project has already started and in the middle of the execution,
right,
whatever may be the oil price, it will not stop. It may be possible that future projects may be deferred or postponed, which may affect the sale in subsequent years. But not this at least this financial year, because these orders are from the projects which are already under construction and cannot be stopped.
But oil price also has
oil prices have corrected a lot. It has already reached $35 a barrel, which is, I can say, which is still 25-30% lesser than the earlier average. But still, it has corrected a lot.
Understood. Okay. And so just the last question would be on the demand from the domestic side. So while I understand you serve a very wide range of customers across sectors, oil and gas, metros, telecom, etc., hospitals, a lot of that. But in your view, are you seeing any delays or pushbacks from those customers in terms of deliveries? So you may not be supplying directly, but through your dealers or the EPC contractors. So are you seeing these guys asking you to delay or defer supplies? And
I think maximum by 1 month, not more than that.
Okay, because they're not prepared to accept, or maybe they are trying to get their sites up and running. Would that be the right reason?
Correct. Because when the sites are not running and they are not ready to receive the material, so that is the only delay.
Okay. So just a month or so, which is fine, right? I mean, given larger size projects. Okay. And sir, in your view, which segments, if you had to take a 1-year view, which segments would be the first to bounce back? Which end markets in your view would be the first to come back to normal? If you had to kind of point out 3 or 4 of those larger segments or end markets?
See, at the moment, we have substantial orders from metro projects. Then there are lot of projects which were underway for fertilizer project expansion in India, and also refineries upgrade and refinery expansions in oil, HPCL, BPCL. These are the projects, plus railways and wind and solar projects. I don't know, wind and solar, we have yet to see that how there may be delays by another 2-3 months in those projects due to this lockdown. But I don't see any problem in metros, fertilizers, refineries, they are on the track, and we are still being pursued by the customers. And also, we are executing very large orders for Nuclear Power Corporation of India for Kudankulam nuclear power project, where there is no impact.
Understood. And sir, could you also share the acceptances number as of March, if sir could provide that, please?
Repeat your question, sir.
Repeat the question, please.
The acceptances, the number on acceptances, which is a part of trade base.
Just a minute.
That's all from my side. Thank you.
Acceptance is close to 770 crore rupees for this year.
Okay, got that. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Charanjit Singh from DSP Mutual Fund. Please go ahead.
Hello, sir. Thanks for the opportunity. And I think company has posted a good set of numbers in a very tough environment. So one thing, sir, from the receivables front, if you can just help us understand from which kind of customers these are, pending dues. As you highlighted that there is some, recovery which is happening in April. But overall, how do you see the receivable cycle panning out in FY21?
Receivable front is asking.
See, so far as cable sales are concerned, I think all our receivables are intact and we are getting the payments in time. There was some delays from the, EPC customers because the offices were not working. But I am confident that during this financial year, our working capital cycle will improve, and means it will go down.
And sir, from overall end market perspective, so we have a housing and wire segment and a cable segment. So if you can just give some, outlook in terms of the growth trajectory for both these segments, because one is more dependent on the residential real estate or the real estate segment, and the other is dependent on the infrastructure spending by government. So how do you see both these segments doing, going forward? Maybe in the second half, do you see pickup or real estate remaining weak and get impacted on the housing wire front? So both cables and wires outlook trajectory.
This year, definitely the sales cables will do very strong and very much far better as compared to wires, which is going to real estate segment, because wherever we are selling the wires to government projects or ongoing civil projects of like hospitals of ESI or projects of NBCC or National Building Construction Corporation or metros, there is no slowdown. The contractors have started taking the products, but real estate is slow. I think we should be able to do some guesswork from June onwards. It is at the moment, but the sales from B and C cities, the smaller cities, has picked up even in the May. We have seen a strong lifting of wires from by the dealers from B and C cities, barring the metro cities. So the larger projects have not picked up, maybe because most of the larger cities are still under lockdown.
And sir, on the EHV front, we have started getting some orders in the 400 kV side, which is a very consolidated market. So
yeah.
What are the prospects there? There are very few players, and how is what are the tender sizes like, and what's the market opportunity in 400 kV? Yeah, that's all from my side.
See, there is I can tell you this, the order which, in India, there are only two companies in this segment, KEI and Universal Cables. In this tender which we won, 150 crore order, this was almost a 900 crore worth of tender, but substantial portion of 500 crore went to a Korean company. In future, now we are working very hard with all the government utilities to put in Make in India, clause in the tenders, so that the business remains in India, and when we have the capability to manufacture this range of product why import? And I think the relevant ministries are acting on it, and we should be able to get it through. There will be a gradual growth in demand in 400 kV cable segment, even in the underground transmission segment, as well as the hydropower project segment. So this is the future, and this will be a substantial future, and company will be benefited out of it. You have seen that last year our EHV sales is grown by 130% from 189 crore to 435 crores. So this year also there will be, I won't say that this year the sales are likely to remain or grow by 10 to 20% in EHV segment because of the sentiments and the COVID situation. But this segment is going to grow substantially.
Great, sir. Thanks a lot for taking my questions. All the best for the future. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is on the line of Rita Tahil Ramani from Invesco Mutual Fund. Please go ahead.
Hello, sir. Sir, you've highlighted the fact in terms of working capital improvement also, but could you help us understand the execution timeline for the 1,200 crore EPC project as also almost 750 crores of EHV project? So is it that due to challenges in terms of receivables, will it slow down in terms of execution? Could you just give us a sense on that?
We generally do a total sale of EPC 1,000 crore, out of which close to 300 crore is the cable and 700 crore is the EPC portion. So because we have the 1,200 crore order book position, which is almost for 1.5 year position. So we are always doing only in this range of EPC.
But extra high voltage, in case of extra high voltage cable,
it is increasing.
It is increasing, and in this, the 70% of the cost of the project is only cables. So execution portion and 10% is other materials like jointing kits and accessories, and rest is the execution portion. So there is this is purely EHV. When I say that we have a order book of 774 crore, so out of which 70 to 75% is only the cost of the cables.
So is it fair to assume that this entire project, so this EHV 700 crores will almost be executed in the current year itself?
No, normally these projects take, small projects are executed within 9 to 10 months, but larger projects like 400 kV, it will take 18 months.
Okay.
It takes time because of the ground clearances, the document clearances by the customers, the ROW permissions from the local authorities. So due to that, it takes time. Otherwise, we can execute these projects within 6 months.
Okay. So what is the breakup of your long-term or short-term projects within the 750 crores or so?
Most of the projects are for 18 to 24 months.
Okay. And these tough times, are we looking at picking up incremental orders in both EPC as well as EHV space?
EHV, as sir has said that we have the order book position for this financial year as well as for next. In EPC also, whatever we are having close to 1,200 crore order book position, it is sufficient for almost 17-18 months time.
But it doesn't mean that we will be bidding for the tenders which benefits us, which are of our lines, and we since we are not dependent on this industry, so we only bid a reasonably good price, and we don't compete just for the sake of the order. So this is that is the reason that we are doing controlled business in EPC and with a better cash flows and better margins.
Sure. And just one last question. What was the housing wire capacity utilization pre-COVID?
Pre-COVID, our Silvassa was almost 100%, and the new plant was Chinchpada, so that was only 10% utilized before COVID.
Okay. That's from my side, and good luck for future.
Thank you.
The next question is from the line of Ashwin Agarwal from Ashmore. Please go ahead. Ashwin Agarwal, your line is unmuted. Please go ahead with the question.
Yeah, sorry, I was on mute. I have a couple of follow-up questions. One is with the deferral of the capex by 6 months, is there a risk that March 22 also turns out to be a very slow growth here because your capacity constrained? Because I was under the impression that you don't have much spare capacity left.
In cables, we could have grown by more than around 15% from the level of 1920. We had that capacity. And in wires, since we have already constructed our Chinchpada plant, and it is completed now, so we have more than doubled the capacity of what we had in 1920 from the Rakholi. So that plant can produce close to 80 to 90 crore rupees of production a month. But at the moment, it is not being utilized because of after the COVID. So we are just producing in our original Rakholi plant in Silvassa. So we have a substantial capacity already available in the house wire and flexible segment, and around 500 to 600 growth capacity available in cable segment also. And definitely by doing better production efficiencies and debottlenecking, we will try to improve the spare capacity by another 5% in the same plants. So we have the growth potential available in FY22, even if we do not do any capex or we defer the capex by 5-6 months. And this is at the moment it is logical to conserve cash instead of doing capex. And once we are really certain about the markets and the situation of economic situation, then only we should go forward for the capex. I think you will agree with us for that.
Fair enough. The second thing is that are you we've heard several companies relooking at all their costs in certain cases, reducing ad spend or reducing overheads, in some extreme cases, some pay cuts as well. Are there any cost side management that is being considered by KEI?
Yes, we are also looking at all our overheads, even the manpower placed in all the departments, and rationalizing them, relocating them to the newer positions. So far as ad spends are concerned, we have taken a conscious decision to not to do any much ad spending in the first 6 months of this financial year, and in September we will review whether to do further ad spends in this in October onwards. But for first 6 months we are not doing any ad spend, which used to be substantial. We are looking at every cost in the company, like all other organizations, to make the company really viable and profitable.
And the last question is that, you mentioned that you add roughly about 10-12% to your dealer count each year. I assume that's on a net basis because some people probably go out of the system as well.
Yes, sir.
Yes. We are hearing, a significant amount of stress in the MSME space, and, dealers with no revenues almost for 2 months and overheads in terms of rentals and employees, etc. I don't know. Are you worried that you might see a higher turnover in your dealers base because of the financial difficulties being faced by them? How are you thinking about these risks?
See, we are very conscious about we are reviewing the financial positions of the dealer regularly, and now even along with our marketing person, our financial, commercial people are also meeting the dealers and understanding, and we are also limiting their credit limits, and not taking a very big exposure on any particular entity. So, and also not trying hard push sales to the dealers, so as not to increase our credit exposure to them. So it is, we are really conscious that it is better to do lesser sales than increasing the credit exposure to the dealers which are small.
Have you seen any sticky receivables from individual dealers? Is there risk of elevating credit costs from that?
Not yet, but some of the dealers have gone for a deferment of 1 to 2 months moratorium in the channel finance, so which we have agreed, because we also know that they have not been receiving payments from their back end.
Okay, thank you, sir. All the
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Sanjay Dam from Old Bridge Capital. Please go ahead. Sanjay, please go ahead with the question. Your line is unmuted.
Yes, sir. Thanks for taking my question. I had 2 questions. One is that when you talk about possible squeeze on the top line, just correct me if I'm wrong, you are looking at the housing buyer segment and the EPC segment. Is the understanding correct?
EPC segment, I have mentioned that we have a good order book position, and we are very conscious in bidding for EPC projects. Wherever we are very confident about the funding and they are funded projects, we are going ahead. So far as housing buyer is concerned, I'm not very bullish about this year, but I'm positive, because ultimately the product what we are selling is going across to various government projects of Public Works Department of the states or government funded projects, hospitals, and buildings constructed by this National Building Construction Corporation or airports. Also, we are supplying these wires to panel manufacturers who use these wires in the panel manufacturing. We are also selling wires and winding wires to agriculture sector, which is very buoyant, and we have seen a very substantial sales of winding wires in May, because it was a sowing season and it will continue for next 4 months as well. And also I'm very bullish about the house wire sales in B and C category or D category cities. Of course, in A category cities, it may remain flat or even it may decline to the larger multi-storied projects, or even to the real estate also may slow down in this year.
Sir, the second question was that did I also understand correct when you said that the working capital by the end of the year by the end of the year FY21 would be would revert to normalized level of what you did at the end of FY19? Would that be a correct assumption to make?
या संजय देखिए, अभी भी आप देखें तो हाफ मंथ का डाटा बड़ा है, सो दैट इज मेनली बिकॉज ऑफ दी, आपको पता है कि गवर्नमेंट डिपार्टमेंट में लास्ट मंथ में काफी कलेक्शन आता है, सो वो तो अभी 6-8 महीने में नॉर्मलाइज हो जाएगा, तो वो फ्रंट इतना वरीड नहीं है. इसी तरह से इन्वेंट्री जो थोड़ा बड़ा है वो भी बिकॉज ऑफ गुड्स इन ट्रांजिट हो गया, प्रोडक्शन नहीं हुआ, सेल नहीं हुआ, उसकी वजह से है. तो ये सब तो 6 से 8 महीने में वैसे नॉर्मल हो जाएगा. और आप देखें हमारे क्रेडिटर्स बढ़े नहीं, क्रेडिटर्स बल्कि घटे हैं.
और देखिए जो फोर्थ क्वार्टर में कम से कम 100-125 करोड़ का सेल और आना था, which would have given a decent 11-12% growth in Q4, but which could not happen due to the lockdown in last 10 days of the March. So due to वो जो मटेरियल था वो एक्चुअली इन्वेंट्री में एक्यूमुलेट हो गया.
Right, sir. So basically going ahead, your payables will also, like Rajiv ji, you said that your payables reduced and your receivables increased. So when you get your money back, so receivable days will also normalize and payables will also possibly revert back to a normalized level. So when we look at the working capital at the end of FY 2021 or maybe at the end of first half of FY 21, it will be familiar to the numbers that we have seen at the end of FY 19. Would that be a good understanding? Yeah.
Yes, yes.
And finally, the last question is that when I look at your product mix that you see, so to an earlier question, you said that you are not constrained for FY 22 growth, which is a good thing, and you will review the capex in another 3-4 months. In FY 21, when I look at the product mix between house wires, cables and exports. So exports, I understand, will not possibly go up much from what you had a fantastic year in FY 20. So FY 21 exports may not go up much. Maybe house wires will decline and cables will grow. Distribution cables, EHV will grow. What will it do to your margin, sir, in that change mix?
The margin more or less there may be 0.5% vary because of the fixed cost between these 2 months, but otherwise it will remain.
You see that
only to that extent it may, because now in this financial year our interest cost will go down further from here. So somewhere it will exceed, but somewhere it will go down. So ultimately the cash profit we will be able to achieve.
And one last.
Sorry, sir. I would request you to please return to the queue for any follow-up questions. Thank you. The next question is from the line of Manish Mahawar from Edelweiss. Please go ahead.
Hello.
Yes, please go ahead.
Hi, sir. Manish Mahawar here. So just one booking question. Basically, our order for EPC order backlog is around 1,200 crores, and we target around 1,000 crores of revenue per year. So basically, we received some orders around 200 crores this year. So do we have that kind of basically?
Manish, in EPC division, the current year sale is close to 1,300 crore, which include EHV EPC also. So again, in this year EHV EPC is more, because we are doing the EPC wherein the more and more the cable component are there, because we do the EPC for making the profit and selling our cable as a forward integration. So if the distribution products are not there, we are compensating through the extra high voltage EPC.
So my question was more on the order inflow perspective. To match around 1,000 crores of revenues, basically, we will need around 800 crores of, for 22 also, if we need 1,000 crore revenue, we need some 800 to 1,000 crores of order inflow this year also. So do we have that kind of outlook, in this scenario that we can get that kind of an order inflow, including EPC and EHV?
I think that outlook is there, and I think we should be able to get that kind of inflow in the order book.
Okay. Thank you. That was it.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Rita Tahiramani from Invesco Mutual Fund. Please go ahead.
Thank you for the opportunity once again. Sir, we mentioned that our working capital will normalize in the current year, and we are also deferring the capex plan. So in that case, could you help us understand what could be the debt number be at the end of the year?
If we are not doing the capex, then the debt number will be closer to 300 crore, not more than 300 or maybe 250.
Okay. So, okay. And secondly, so if you're not doing the capex, could you help us understand what could be the maximum revenue you can do from the current capacity for the cable?
5,700 crore.
5,700 crores overall. No, from the cable I'm asking. Only from the cable business.
So out of which you remove the 1,000, so 4,700 crore from the manufacturing front.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll be taking the last question from the line of Sanjay Dham from Old Bridge Capital. Please go ahead.
Sir, so out of the 500 crore that you raised, sir, Rajiv ji, 400 crore has been paid back, loans of 400 odd crore has been repaid or prepaid out of the 500 crore that you raised.
Answer.
Okay. And okay, so out of that, some part would obviously be working capital that you may raise.
Close to 139 crore we have paid term loan, and balance we had 258 crore, 259 crore we had paid the working capital loan.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you. I would now like to hand the conference over to Mr. Amit Mahawar from Edelweiss Securities for his closing comments.
Yeah. So just one last question, if I can. Can you just share the breakup of segments into Housewire, LT, active for Q4 and for FY20, and that will be all.
Yeah, you can note down, Amit. First, I will tell the Q4 number. Low tension power cable Q4 is 592, and for full year is 2041 crore. High tension power cable Q4 number is 134 crore, and full year number is 673 crore. Extra high voltage power cable is 127 crore and 435 crore. Housewire is 190 crore and 850 crore.
191 क्वार्टर का
है ना, क्वार्टर एंड ईयर. Stainless steel wire, the quarter is 40 crore and full year is 137 crore. EPC other than cable is quarter is 186 crore and full year is 764 crore. These are the numbers.
Okay, thank you, sir. Do you have any closing comments, sir?
So thank you very much for your valuable time for this investors conference call. I can reassure you that the company's business is intact in spite of the COVID uncertain situation. I can emphasize that we will do better than our fellow other industries in the same business and in the same line of business, and our EBITDA and profitability will be maintained. We have very strong order book, and we have very strong customer base in foreign countries, in exports, in many other countries, and it is growing every year. So